Hello everyone, this is Melanie from Melanie B's Creative Studio, and I am so happy to have you guys back today with Schipper Sunday. I am so sorry I had to take a few weeks off to deal with life. So I had dismantled my entire studio thinking I could reassemble, redesign, and reorganize it in a weekend, and then I remembered who I am and remember that nothing ever goes as planned in my life. So I am here 3.5 weeks later and still in a hot mess of disorganization. So I'm still working on the studio. Very soon you will be seeing before and after pictures. The before pictures are nightmarish, and the after pictures hopefully will be something of extraordinary beauty and something you may want to emulate at some point. So I will be bringing you very quick clips on TikTok, Pinterest, and Instagram hopefully very soon, and a full studio tour of those changes. But in the meantime, I appreciate your patience while you waited for me to come back with Schipper Sunday. So you guys, this piece is the last piece in the collaboration kits that Schipper sent me back a couple of months ago. And I've held on to it and wanted to share it with you because it is such a beautiful, amazing piece with such a powerful meaning behind it. And so today I want to introduce this piece, and this is kind of a finale for the kits of the fall release from Schipper. They have not sent me new kits, so I will go ahead and use the ones that I have in my stash from this point on, unless they send me some of the brand new winter and spring release, which I hope they do because they are fabulous. Even though they don't have a lot in that new release, that doesn't mean they're not going to be adding more. So I'm kind of hoping for new collaboration kits, you know, because they are gorgeous. This particular piece is called The Way of St. James. And I'm going to be completely honest that this was just a stunning piece of architecture to me. And I had to look up the meaning behind it to be sure that I understood the magnitude of it. And now it is just so amazing to me and even more impressive. So I wanted to kind of give you the background behind this piece. So I was looking at the Schipper website, which I'm going to include in the description box below, a link for their actual website. So their description of this piece, The Way of St. James, explains that it is Europe's most famous pilgrimage path, and it is a heritage site. It says the various routes across Central Europe all head to the main route in northern Spain that end where the presumed sepulchre of the Apostle St. James is situated. This cathedral is the central place of pilgrimage. Going on a pilgrimage and following the Camino de Santiago, Camino Francis, helps us become aware again of the core values in life, and it is said to have a positive effect on our body, soul, and spirit. The motto saying, "The journey is a reward," is ever so true on this route. The present motif puts the particular atmosphere, the symbolic power of the pilgrimage, and the Pilgrim's Cathedral in the limelight in an artwork, and expresses our special wishes linked with this journey in a painting. Another milestone for every hobby painter. And you guys, after reading that, I mean, this piece just, I don't know, it evokes some kind of emotion. It is incredible. So this is a triptych, and that means it's the 3-panel. I won't go into all of that because I've done so many triptychs in the past, but I had seen the one about Notre Dame, and I wanted it because I've seen Notre Dame in person. It was beautiful, and then it burned, and I was like, okay, that's one I need to get. And then I was like, no, just wait, don't get that one. And then I got this one, and I was like, you know, this one doesn't necessarily appeal to me personally, but the colors are fabulous. And now that I've read the meaning behind this, I'm not so sure. I don't think I'm going to get rid of this one. I was originally thinking this may be one that I could hand to someone else that would have more meaning, who's been there and that kind of thing. But now that I've read that, I am so attached to this piece So having said that, let's take a look inside this box and look at the contents, and then we're going to swatch these paints. Inside our catalog, they have tucked away our number stickers and our paintbrush. You guys, I mentioned it in the flow technique videos that I've recently done, that the paintbrush is designed for the flow method of painting. So although in the past I've kind of been like, oh look, paintbrush, the paintbrush is very handy for that method. In addition to, and this is not a shameless plug, well, it might be shameless, but anyway, my 2/0 spotter is phenomenal for that method as well. But this one does work really well for the method of the flow method that Schipper has kind of told us about. They don't really call it that method, but either way, catalog, phenomenal. Most importantly are the stickers, the number stickers for the paint pots, you know, which are in here. I'm not getting into all of the details on the panels because we've done that so many times. I just try not to be super redundant in every Schipper Sunday. But I think, you know, I have like 30 Schipper videos now. So if you aren't familiar with how their kits are, it's important to go back and watch one of those prior videos to see super detailed information about Schipper kits. A triptych has 3 panels, 2 smaller outside panels, 1 larger inside panel, and that is where your main component is, just like I showed you on the front of the box. And then your right side is marked with an R up here very lightly, so when you paint over it, it will go away. You won't see that anymore. And then the left side is here. And then in our bag of paints, we're gonna have the paints, the reference guide, and the instructions for how to number the paint pots with the number stickers that we were provided. This is where you're gonna find the reference guide for the center panel, and it's gonna say M for middle panel. On the back, we're gonna have an L for the left panel and an R for the right panel. And then this is where we're gonna use the reference for numbering the pots. I know I talk about this almost every single Schipper video, but I want to say it. When you're numbering your paint pots, please pay attention to the sequence, because just in case, like here, there are duplicates of certain numbers like H. So they've given us quite a bit of paint here. They've given us 8 strips of paint. So you'll notice that we have an H strip that has 3 paints in it, and then we have 3 empty paint pots. I cut these paint pots off and I keep these because these are the best paint pots ever. But the 3 that are here are actually duplicates of ones you'll need here. And these are the neutral paints that are for like the buildings. So you need the extras of those. And they're gonna tell us here how we're gonna number those. So they've given us the blank stickers. So all we're gonna do is follow this and say, oh, that's number 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna number them 4, 5, and 6 with a Sharpie, put those stickers on those paint pots, and that way we know what those are when we go to paint these pieces. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take a look at these beautiful paints. Oh, our instruction guide, which I never looked at. And in the beginning is the flow method, basically. Yeah, so that's how I had Schipper paintings for 15 months and didn't know about the flow method till about a month and a half ago. So yes, that's how I overlooked that important information, because I don't read. Look at this beautiful Yummy palette. Now, this is a more muted Yummy palette than I normally say Yummy Deliciousness on. So I'm not gonna say Yummy Deliciousness. I'm just gonna say it's still yummy, because it is a muted Yummy palette, because these are the more natural, beautiful paints. These are the ones I'm always looking for because I don't normally have these in my stash. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous palette. So for those of you who love the muted natural palettes, this one is for you. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna swatch these paints. Now I've started swatching on canvas swatches. So when I come back, I will have canvas swatches swatched for us so we can take a real look at how these did on a canvas swatch. And I will be back. Stay tuned. Okay, everyone, I'm back with the swatches of the 42 paints. Now I know you're looking at actually 45 paints in this particular kit, but 42 of them are original colors, 3 of them are duplicates of these 3 up here, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. These are fabulous paints. I did swatch them on printable canvas. It's not paper, it's actually canvas, so that I could get a really true outcome on the paint on a canvas textured surface. So I wanted to take a really close look in better lighting to see how they turned out. I do want to mention this particular inkjet printable canvas is pre-primed with white gesso, but I did not put clear gesso on these. And the reason I did that is because a lot of you don't use clear gesso, and so I wanted to give us a true representation of these paints without clear gesso. I feel like that is the best way to approach swatching, because this will determine what our true paints are going to be like, and then that will help us decide, for those of you who don't use clear gesso, what you're going to need to do from this point on as far as how to approach certain paints. For those of us who do use clear gesso, then we're going to know the paints that don't have perfect coverage, they're going to look even better once we have clear gesso, and then we can go from there. Let me go ahead and mention as well that I used, and you notice the new colors for the Melanie B's Creative Supplies paintbrushes. This is now available in a single purchase, but this is the mini flat 0 paintbrush, and this is what I use for my swatches. It just gives me a really beautiful smooth swatch, as you can see on my digital swatch guide, and it just makes it real easy to swatch my paints. I don't notice really any issues with opacity in these paints, and the only one I see really any issues at all, if any, is going to be number 26, which is that kind of an ochre, a yellow ochre, and all I really see is a little streaking, which I don't see with any of these other paint swatches. So that one may have either needed to be stirred further, or it is just going to give us a little bit of trouble, but that color is usually kind of a pain, as we know. So that one might be an issue. Keeping in mind that if you use the PBN flow method, or the flow technique that I've brought you in prior videos with your Schipper paint kits, you're probably not going to run into any issues at all, even with that number 26, because once you put it down with the flow method or the flow technique, you are going to just have perfect opacity because you're pulling it up and puddling it, and so it's going to give you a little bit more paint than just putting it on with a brush and that kind of application. So you're not going to have that kind of transparency or translucent issue. All right. Now, having said that, that is just the initial application. You may see different application depending on whether you've added flow aid or stirred completely with your paints. Always be sure when you have your Schipper paints that you are stirring from the bottom, mixing up what is in the cap into the bottom. And let's go ahead and look at these, because I did not stir and mix these, but let's take a look. I'm always careful to open them, because see how you can have some in the cap and some in the bottom, and this has not been stirred yet, and you can see it's separated some. So I've talked about this in prior Schipper Sunday videos, but what I want to do is take a steel stir stick, which we also sell at Melanie B's Creative Supplies, because I want to make sure you have all the tools you need for your paint by number projects there. But you're going to take that stir stick, mix up what's in the top and bring it down here, mix this all up, and then I put a little bit more up here, and I kind of work from this cap when I'm painting with my Schipper paints. But that way I am getting all of this work together. I'm getting the best mixture of the paint, and I get the best consistency and the best opacity. So always be sure to do that with your Schipper paints. Even if they don't look separated, I still do that because it just makes sure that I am getting the best quality from my paints. All right, you guys, this is absolutely a beautiful piece. It has a lot of meaning behind it, and sometimes I just feel like there are never enough good things to say about Schipper kits, and that is why I do these Schipper Sunday videos. Thanks as always for joining me again today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed, please be sure to do so. Go join me on Patreon, join me on the Facebook group, And I've recently joined TikTok, and I have hopefully got someone who's going to be helping me add TikTok videos soon and some more Pinterest and Instagram videos and stuff. So please join me on those as well, because hopefully very soon you'll start seeing more clips and videos there as well. So thank you guys as always for being a part of my channel and my life, and I will see you back soon.